Hi traders, this is Brad Gilbert with FX Market Insight for the 18th of September. All right, as we head into Tuesday's trading now, we've been waiting all day for Trump to come out and give us a bit of a spiel on some new tariffs. And he has literally just thrown these out in the last sort of 5 minutes. And we are starting to sort of see a major impact. So let me just increase that pen a bit and get some more yellow on there. Okay, so the tariffs are there. Basically, he has lodged here. If I just go down to the bottom part, the main part is he's gone with 10% of tariffs, right, which is pretty much what the market has factored in. But he says he's going to go up to 25% at the end of the year. Now, this is really, I think, to really stir up the Chinese. Now, the Chinese have already said they will retaliate to any new tariffs. We'll wait and see what happens here. But Trump has also put in there, if China retaliates, he will immediately pursue tariffs on $267 billion in Chinese imports. So what does that mean for us? Okay, dollar yuan is to the top side. So that's a weaker yuan. Obviously, that will put more pressure on China selling products globally, or particularly in the US, I should say, but that has a global ramification. Dollar China has popped to the top side. Now, this is pretty much factored in. If I come back over here to the majors, right, we're looking for the potential impacting currency pairs. Let's get the pen right. Okay, so Aussie has just dropped off about 20 points. Kiwi's come back about 20 points as well. Now, don't forget, this has been factored into the market for some time. When a retaliation comes, I think dollar yen will be the one that drops. Okay, you're looking at the actual crosses themselves. I think the major action will be on the yen crosses. You'll see the beast, dollar yen, really come into play. And what we're looking at for here is a fall in dollar yen. As I said, I think a breakdown through the cloud. You've already seen the Aussie go down and the Kiwis come down a bit, but I think they've got more room to go. So all these yen crosses should move down. Now, sterling's going to be the odd one out because sterling is currently rallying in a bullish sort of sentiment at the moment. Oil is already moving lower, and that move down in dollar yen is going to put further downside pressure there. So the yen crosses really coming back into play today. They've been a little bit dormant of late. Now you come back to the major currency pairs. Now, if I get the MyFX Trading Hub up, this is where it becomes very apparent, and you need to be focusing on not only the current market conditions, but the pairs that have general bias here. Now, a lot of the bias on these pairs is geopolitical. Aussie and Kiwi, of course, first-hand direct impact from anything to do with China. So weaker yuan, weaker Aussie, weaker Kiwi. That's the way it works. Now, technically and sort of fundamentally, sterling, I should say, has gone into, to me, a bullish sort of sentiment at this point. Now, this is a lot of it is backed on Brexit, but Brexit has pushed the technicals daily and hourlies to the top side. So that is the odd duck out at this point. Now, the one that's right on the balance is the US dollar. It's been falling of late, and it's right on the cusp of breaking down on the dailies and weeklies, right? So I don't know how these China trade tariffs are going to impact. Of course, we've seen the US dollar rally against China, but against some of the other majors, it's not really moving, and it is on the precipice of a major fall. So we'll have to wait and see what the impact of these tariffs is, especially when China and or Japan sort of come into play. I've got dollar yen and dollar CAD sideways. The key thing to me is dollar Swiss. It's a really, because the Swiss is so neutral, not just as a country, but as a currency, it really reflects what's going on in the dollar. And it has turned down on the hourlies, weeklies, and dailies, right? So this has got bearish sentiment. To me, dollar Swiss can sometimes be the precursor to what's actually going to happen in the dollar. So I'm starting to think, well, the dollar's going down against the Swiss. We should see a weaker dollar, which is quite weird, right? Because then you go, well, hang on, isn't the Aussie and Kiwi moving lower? Yes, they are, and so is the dollar against some of these other pairs. But this is the complete geopolitical head twister you can get. These major pairs up here generally correlate, most of the time, 85, 90% of the time. At the moment, they're going in all different directions. Euro sideways, sterling higher, Aussie and Kiwi lower. And then you've got these dollar pairs down the bottom, generally moving the same way. They're a little bit discombobulated as well. So that's the framework we've got at this stage. and you can't really force anything else. So focus on the pairs with clear bias. Of course, today the dollar yen is going to be the major pair that people are going to look at, and that's on the back of looking at dollar China. So just keep an eye on the cloud there. If it goes down through sort of 111.66, I think we may see it lower. The Aussie and Kiwi, I think they are just starting their moves. Ideally, if you've missed the entry at this point, you're trying to look to get back into these pairs on a retracement, okay, back towards, say, 71.70. And we may see some sort of retracement as we wait the Chinese representatives to come out with their sort of bit of a deal. You can see Euro starting to drift lower. It's still trading sideways overall. And sterling, it's muted, right? Less downside because it is currently going up. So it will drift off lower with the other pairs, but not as much because of that bullish sentiment. Dollar CAD, well, it's just tweaking to the top side, but probably a slight dollar move with dollar China. So to me, guys, keep an eye on dollar yen and the yen crosses. That's where the main action is going to be. And if I just come back across, I just want to show you, we've been building up for this since last week. Okay, now obviously I'm a little bit surprised. I know this is forecast into the market. Now dollar yuan has moved up. It's jumped up like 100 points, but it hasn't really gone on with it up the top here at the moment. So just keep an eye on that. It will, when it starts to run, it does really run. We'll see what the impact here in the dollar is. It should rally across the board, okay? So with that dollar move, that's what we've seen in the past. Technically, I'm saying it's almost on the verge of falling over, but at the moment it is, it's on that sort of rallying path. So general news, once again, it's still geopolitical, okay? It's overshadowing everything, okay? Trump slams tariffs on China, threatens another 267 billion more. That's going to really rattle the cage. And then you've got everything else is pretty much geopolitical on the across the board here. So we're not looking fundamentally at any pictures. We're trading technicals with geopolitical events, and that's a little bit trickier than usual. So just having a quick look at where the action is today. I mean, there are still fundamental releases, and coming into Tuesday, the markets have had time to settle down. They have expected these tariffs, so don't get overly excited just yet. RBA minutes, I don't expect a lot out of that. Draghi's speaking in Paris. Now, there's not a huge amount of emphasis on that. So really, we're waiting for Wednesday before we really kick into the main data. So fundamentally, the currencies are going to be just driven technically by what's going through the market. And where we can see that reflection on the trade tariffs, just keep an eye on this one here. Okay, it's dollar CNH. This is the offshore one. Now, this should weaken, right? And the Chinese will be quite happy with this because it makes their products cheaper. Is this the start of the move, or is this just the factored in move and traders in Asia have just jumped on it straight away? We could see this pull back very quickly because, and this is primarily just this one situation where Trump or the authorities, administration already said early last week they were going to do this, right? So the market's been doing it. It's buy the rumors, sell the fact. Okay, so we've seen the immediate reaction. I think we may see a little bit of a dip. And then if we see China retaliate, well, then that will really kick in the extra next level of tariffs. And that's when we're going to see dollar yuan really go through the roof. Now, the equity markets, if you are trading through that Asian session, keep an eye on these. The US equities, the news service was saying they were weaker, on the preempted tariffs, but I mean that's 0.35 is hardly any major move. Nasdaq down 1.4 is a little bit more of a kicker. So you're going to be watching the Shenzhen composite and the Shanghai index. So keep an eye on those Chinese equities. They should get another pounding with this latest round of tariffs, and that should be enough to get dollar yen really rattling the cage to the downside. I think that's a big chance. All right, guys, as I speak, I'll just come back over to the majors. We are starting to see these currencies starting to slide. As I said, Aussie and Kiwi, the main ones to really take a hit here. And you can see it's just starting to run right now. Euro has a little bit. Sterling still hardly anything. And dollar CAD just slowly is going with the general US dollar vibe. Just keep an eye on dollar yen here. Down through that cloud, I think it's going to have a real good dip, potentially down to 110.80. All right, guys, that's it from me. Exciting trading day ahead. Yeah, all the best. I'll see you in the live trade zone. Just make sure you don't get too carried away with your capital here. This is a good opportunity, but, you know, it's geopolitical, so don't hang your hat on it. All right, guys, we'll catch you later on. All the very best.